Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Welcome to the makings of a madman. Mad men get shit done, it's a passion. Has-beens can't get close to my lab, man. Since I stopped feeding these suckers, they fast. And this is the reason that I move so fast, man. Rewrote the story and threw out the cast. Fuck all the credit, man, I want the cash. I am the running man, you in the past. Too far ahead of you, you cannot see me. I'm stronger and better, you slept on your Wheaties. I got it together, you fall into pieces. I should be calling you Reese's. It should be illegal to teach this, but somebody dared me to do it. So I said, well, damn, I'ma do it. That somebody was me, man.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Welcome to the makings of a madman. Mad men get shit done, it's a passion. Has-beens can't get close to my lab, man. Since I stopped feeding these suckers, they fast. And this is the reason that I move so fast. Rewrote the story and threw out the cast. Fuck all the credit, man, I want the cash. I am the running man, you in the past. Too far ahead of you, you cannot see me. I'm stronger and better, you slept on your Wheaties. I got it together, you fall into pieces. I should be calling you Reese's. It should be illegal to teach this, but somebody dared me to do it. So I said, well, damn, I'ma do it. That somebody was me, man. Welcome back to Sunday Sessions, everybody. For those of you who don't know, my name is Darante LaMar, and I host these sessions, these conversations weekly as a touch point for connection, inspiration, and personal growth. I'm currently working on an audacious mission to launch communities everywhere I can that host weekly conversations just like these in an environment free of superstition or coercion. And so I show up because of that reason every Sunday. Really for three reasons. Number one, to host a conversation that either helps, heals, or hits on something important to our community, to create opportunity for people to gather, connect, and support each other in real time, and also to spark a fire in others who have a passion for speaking, organizing, and a professional interest in community leadership and personal development. So my goal is to get people excited about the idea of being a better way to connect by building community without superstition. So while today's conversation, as I have been saying, may feel like church at times, there will be no appeals to deities, doctrines, or anything that cannot be demonstrated as dependable information. At no point will you be asked to confess your sins or pick a savior. Instead, you will be encouraged to learn, laugh, and love freely while giving others the grace to do the exact same thing. We are building something world-changing and incredible. And if this is your first time, welcome in. Let us know that you're new so that our community can show you some love, right? All right, so are y'all ready for part 4 of This Is Kind of a Big Deal? This has been an incredible series. This has actually been one of my favorite series of the entire year. Obviously, it's come from a very real and raw place, and that's the whole point of it. But man, haven't we had some good times in this so far? I mean, last week we had an incredible time just learning how to let people cook, right? A highlight phrase that emerged from that conversation is that if they're cooking, it means we're about to be eaten. And, you know, that's a reminder that every time you interrupt the cook, you're potentially robbing yourself of a meal. Sometimes when I'm dealing with people who are metaphorically starving, I wonder how many cooks they've interrupted in their life. Oh, that's too good. I got to say that again. Sometimes when I'm dealing with people who are metaphorically starving in life, I wonder how many cooks they've interrupted in their life. How many times someone has been cooking up something that was likely what they needed, but they interrupted the cook. Throwback from last week, man. Let them cook, right? Let them cook. So Somebody was cooking and you were so close to your meal, but just didn't know how to let them cook. Now, since we learned that lesson last week, now we need to wrestle with what happens next. Okay, so either you've cooked, they've cooked, or maybe we've all cooked, right? But either way, now we have a meal. Now there's some food on the table, because cooking isn't just performative. It is purposeful and productive. It has a point other than just to say, oh, look how good I am. If I'm cooking, it's because I'm trying to serve a meal. All right. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know about you. No, but if I'm cooking, it's because I'm trying to eat something. If I'm cooking something, I'm trying to eat something. If I'm cooking, I'm trying to serve up a meal. When I relaunched my channel last year with only 52 subscribers, that was me stepping in the kitchen, right? When I launched our Sunday sessions on Easter of last year, that was me starting to cook a little bit. And to be honest, I was terrified. I didn't have enough ingredients for this. There was no recipe for this. Listen, y'all, there was no recipe for this. Nobody was even at the table yet. And here I am calling myself cooking. With what? For who, bruh? What you cooking? With what? You ain't got nothing to cook with. There's nobody to cook for. And honestly, yes, there were some people who tried to discourage the process. Oh, that sounds too much like church. Oh, I don't like that he don't debate. He won't talk about my favorite subject. He won't join my bandwagon issue. He sound like he preaching. I just got all of it. But as discouraging as those whispers were, I'm so glad that there were louder voices connecting to this community hollering, let them preach. No, oops, my bad. I'm sorry. Let them cook. And not only that, we're starting to get in a groove where other people are fighting through their own insecurities and inconsistencies to get in the kitchen and start cooking too. Now, that's what's beautiful to me, is that other people are finding their way into the kitchen. Nearly 100 students enrolled in Bridge City 101, How We Change the World. And about a handful of you already started cooking. Our Discord was a barren wasteland, honestly, but now there's some people cooking in there. Zen came in the kitchen and said, let me cook in the Discord a little bit. I said, let's go. Robert came in the kitchen and said, let me cook in Cali. I said, let's go. Kyle came in the kitchen and said, let's cook. I said, let's go. The big point is getting more cooks in the kitchen and letting them cook is finally allowing us to deliver. See, there's some food on the table now. There's some other people to talk to. There's actually something to do. In October, there'll be a place to go in Southern California. There's some food on the table now. And the more people we can encourage to get to cooking, the more food on the table and the more people who can eat, i.e., the more people we can feed. The more people we can feed, goddamn, the more people we can help. All right, is this getting good yet? Y'all, this is still the introduction. I cannot believe I am still in the introduction. But there's a problem here. There is a problem. There is a problem. And I know I took the long way around. But the cooking was never the point. It was the process. Remember, I told you in the beginning that cooking isn't performative. It's productive. I'm doing this because I need or I want something from it. If I'm cooking, I'm doing this because I want or need something from the other side of this process. I want to eat, and I want to eat well, okay? Why do I want to eat? And why do I want to eat well? Well, let's walk through a few benefits of good eating. All right. Number one, eating provides energy. Eating also supports growth and development. It boosts immunity. It reduces risk of chronic disease and improves mental health. See, now we're talking now. Let's make this crossover. See, I ain't eating just to be eating. I ain't eating just because it tastes good. I ain't eating just because it smells good. I ain't even eating just because it looks good. No, I am eating for my energy. I am eating for my growth process. I am eating to make sure that I can handle hard times. Y'all don't want to talk to me. I am eating to reduce the risk of disease and to make sure that my mental health is where it needs to be, because life is a trip. Eating is fundamental for our survival and overall health. It provides the nutrients and energy we need to grow, to function, and to protect ourselves from disease. So as excited as I am about you getting comfortable cooking, don't forget to eat. Yeah. We're gonna need you to eat something. Now stop being so shy, cute, polite, and all that other mess, and get in here and eat. Now, how you gonna let everybody else pull up at the table for the meal and yet somehow disqualify yourself? What I really want people to understand is that this isn't a game show, it's a restaurant. It's not entertainment, it's service. Real community to me is people serving together, cooking together, and eating together. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Robert, I don't know if you're watching this live, but I think I just slipped up on something here. Let them serve, let them cook, and let them eat. Damn, that's some good stuff. Now, if we're doing all this cooking, don't let this good food go to waste. As a community, we are rolling out a buffet of energy, of growth and development, of increased immunity, of reduced disease, and of improved mental health. Now, don't you let us have all this good food out here and you don't eat. Get on in here and eat something. As they used to say in the church days, come on in. What a table is spread. If you're going to be here, at least eat, baby. Pull up a chair. Go ahead and get you a chair up at this table and eat. Because we're talking about eating today. I don't care how you do it, but you're gonna have to eat, and not just a little bit. You're gonna have to eat all of it. See, that's some of your problem right now. You just sit down and you just nitpick through the meal. My grandma would be so disappointed in you. All that food, look at all that meat still on that bone. What is that? What is that? No, you're gonna have to eat, and you're gonna have to eat all of it. You're gonna have to. There's an old business saying, you have to eat the whole frog, bro. You're gonna have to eat all of it. There's so much I want to go into in this point right here, just because there's so much that much of us leave on the table of opportunity in our own lives because we don't know how to take advantage of everything that is in front of us. Now you got it. Oh my goodness, eat all of it. Eat all of it. You got it. Not only if you're coming in here, you're gonna have to eat. I'm gonna treat you for the rest of this message. I'm going to treat you like somebody's grandma. If you're gonna be in this house, if it's on your plate, you're gonna have to eat all of it. In the words of the apostle formerly known as Paul, take the bread and eat ye all of it. I came to encourage someone this weekend that every time you get the opportunity to eat, leave no crumbs. Will you encourage somebody in the chat and tell them to leave no crumbs? No. If I'm gonna eat, you're gonna know I was here because I'm gonna leave no crumbs. That plate is clean as a mug, ain't it? Okay, so now all of this was the introduction. This was the introduction. Let's eat and leave no crumbs, okay? We've already introduced the reason why eating is so important in a way that neatly fits the theme, but I want to build the metaphor out a little more so we don't miss a thing. Not one crumb, pun intended. So as a person who formerly weighed nearly 600 pounds, I know a little something about eating. I don't know if you can tell, but I get a little excited talking about eating. That's me pulling on my big boy days. No, as a person who was nearly 600 pounds, man, I know a little something about it. But a major realization for me in my weight loss journey was recognizing that I was eating for hunger, not health. Okay. Somehow, somehow I had lived nearly 3 decades of my life using food to feed my hunger, but not to fuel my health. Now the thought that I just had that made me go, ooh, is that it made me realize that there are so many people that only reach out to eat, metaphorically, when they're in survival mode. And then I realized, oh, damn, that's the scary thing. So the only time I'm trying to learn something new is when I feel like my life is dependent on it. The only time I'm pushing myself to check out a new skill is when I feel like I'm about to get kicked out or something. The only time we feed ourselves, get interested in new information, is just not based off of health, but just hunger. I'm starving right now, so I got to do something. So I was eating to survive, but I really wasn't eating to live. Like I treated eating as a passive reflex to hunger instead of an active opportunity for health. I shifted from eating for survival to eating for sovereignty, to exercise governance of myself and the desired interest of myself. See, now I'm eating because this makes me better. This moves me forward and it motivates me for more. This is what led me to building out the first phase of the mastermind framework, which I've shared a little bit with you all about, but it's that nutrition aspect because This is where it gets good. It wasn't just about what I was consuming for food, but also what I was consuming for information, what I'm consuming for ideas, what I'm consuming in my relationships, what I was choosing for entertainment. When a person is pregnant, the doctor will normally advise, remember now, you're eating for two. Y'all know that? They'll tell them, hey, now, remember, you're eating for two. It's admonishment that while you may not normally be intentional about your consumption, there's someone else depending on you to eat. So, but I'd like to update that advice for the purpose of this conversation for all of us, and that's remember you're eating for you now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was for me, 580 pounds, under 200 a day. Yeah, maintained it. For me, it was realizing that, hey, bro, hunger is literally like the basis level of your interest in this. You can actually get an informed understanding of how food works with you. You know what I'm saying? What it can do for you, So you start asking the question, what does eating for me look like? All right. So we eat for energy. Food fuels us. Without energy, nothing moves forward. Not our bodies, not our ideas, not our communities. Energy is the raw power that turns vision into action. In life, energy isn't just calories, it's clarity. What you consume determines whether you feel sluggish or strong or scattered or steady. When we eat well in conversation, in connection, in opportunity, we're fueling ourselves with the power to show up fully. So if I'm going through a phase, watch this. If I'm going through a phase, and this is just me, now you ain't got to do what I do, but I'm just telling you what I do, and maybe you will figure out something that you want to do. But if I'm going through a phase where I'm feeling more sluggish, or I'm feeling lethargic, or I'm feeling like I don't have the energy to complete certain projects I want to do, the first thing I check is what type of information do I have going on right now? And for me, 9 times out of 10, it will be, Darante, you've been so caught in grind mode that you actually haven't had any information. Now, that's something I'll do. What'll happen is I'll get stuck for maybe like 4 days straight. Obviously, I'm going to bed and stuff like that. But like 4 days straight, instead of listening to an audiobook, instead of listening to a lecture, I'm in kind of like flow state. So it's just music. It is just music. And so if I go that 4 to 5 days straight, and it's just music. That music, it keeps me going. It helps me flow. But I've also left myself like devoid of any new information or new stimulation for just new things other than what I'm working on. And so ultimately, I end up feeling completely drained, completely tired. And so that's when I know, okay, I got to switch up the game. All right, it's been music. The music has been nice. Because sometimes it's like meditation music, and sometimes it's like Jay-Z and Rick Ross. And then sometimes it's like old school Queen Latifah. And then sometimes it's like Broadway and vaudeville. Because I'm weird. I just like music and shit. So anyway, big point. I'll realize, okay, I need to up my energy in this level, right? So community thrives when individuals have the energy to invest, to engage, and to keep rising. That's why I share information like this, because life will beat the hell out of you. And sometimes you will help it. You will be tagging life in to beat your ass. I don't know why you do it, but you'll do it. I've watched you do it. Go ahead, tell the truth. Shame the devil. We've all done it. Don't do it no more. So we eat for energy. We eat for energy. But we also eat for growth and development. Like growth doesn't happen by accident. That's probably one of the biggest issues we have in this country, is that there's a large population of this country who expects to be informed by accident. There's a great portion of this country who believes that education is passive, that it's just like osmosis, that you're like, everybody knows. And well, how do you know? Well, you just know by living. See, that's not how learning works, son. I don't know who taught you that. I'm sorry to go Bill Cosby, but no, that's not how learning works. Growth doesn't happen by accident. Learning doesn't happen by accident. Getting the accurate information doesn't happen by accident. You got to feed yourself the resources, the tools, and the right processes to get there. It doesn't happen by accident. Just as children need nourishment to develop into strong adults, our minds and our communities need the right intake to grow beyond where we started. Eating for growth means stretching yourself, feeding on new knowledge, new perspectives, new challenges that move the mark in directions that you're trying to go to. So a lot of times when most people think about growth, they think too much about punishment and not enough about discipline. And I blame the Bible for that stuff, but that's where it comes from. But because we don't, one of the things I get excited about is discipline. Oh, I'm so excited about discipline. Man, I used to not like that word. I don't like punishment. Don't try that shit with me. Don't do that. But discipline, because punishment is what you do to somebody else. Discipline is what you do to yourself. All right. Discipline are the habits that I choose to engage to get me to the outcomes that I want in life. Is that good? Goodness gracious. I'm sorry. This is good. So when I'm out here eating, I used to call it knowledge hustling. I call it knowledge hustling, man. Like, no, I'm trying to get in. What's the new knowledge? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? What you done heard? What you done learned? Yeah, I saw some things change in your life. What happened? What new skill you done learned? What new word you've learned? What system you've come across? Who you've been talking to? Knowledge hustling. I want to know. Not saying I'm gonna follow it, but I want to know. I'm inquisitive like that, All right. So development requires intentional consumption. Now, just going back to this nutritional aspect, any place in my life that I identify that is not something that is satisfactory for me, I don't let anybody else define it. And the reason I don't let anybody else define it is because I don't want to define it for anybody else. So I got my seat. You got your seat. So when I'm telling you what I do for my life, please don't ever feel like, oh, he does it that way, I need to do it. No, this is how I do it for me, right? This is how I do it for me. Now I don't even know what I was going to tell y'all because it's gone. Oh, there it is. When I look at an area in my life that is unsatisfactory for me, and I say I want this to go into a different direction, the first thing I ask myself is, do I have enough information to change it? And 9 times out of 10, the answer will be no, right? Because typically when you know better, you do better, and that's actually a part of my personality. Not even just know better, do better, but once I know a thing, it's like I can't like not know it, not dementia runs in my family. So I guess at one point I can not know it. There will be a time when I likely will not be able to know it. But as of now, once I know something, I'm a type of I can't know and not do, right? So if I realize that there's something in my life that I'm not satisfied with, I ask myself, do I have enough information to change it? The answer again is likely no, because if I did have enough information to change it, it would have likely already been changed. So now what I need to do is to create a new avenue for that type of information to come into my life. And I need to be intentional about it. And that's the beautiful thing. I don't live in 1839. You know what I'm saying? It's 2025 for me, and it's been the 2000s for at least 25 years for me. All right. It's been the 2000s for at least 25 years for me. And if you're older than 25, it's been the 2000s for at least 25 years for you too, just in case you didn't know. Thought you should know. But it's been at least 25 years that I've had access to the internet. I have access to technology. I have to remind people all the time that you do know there's a lot more on the internet than just porn and music. Okay? Listen, titties are fascinating. I get it. I love them too. Yes. Titties, big and small. I get it. But oh my goodness, there is a world of learning out there. And the one thing that you will find out about people who are truly, truly educated, that are truly informed, they love sharing their information and they will do it for free. Muttley said there's more than porn and music? No. So y'all don't make me break character. We're not supposed to be doing that, all right? This is like auditioning, Now let me stop. But so it requires intentional consumption, If I say, okay, like no, like sometimes I'll give you me, right? It's like, Darante, it's okay to treat yourself like you don't know shit. Have y'all ever did that before? Like, that's what y'all hear me say it a lot. I don't give myself permission to know anything that I haven't actually tried to know. You know what I'm saying? I consider that pretending. And I set myself free from pretending. I ain't got to pretend. So I can say, I don't know. That is such a free thing to do. And not only can I say I don't know, I can deal with the reason why I don't know, right? Deal with the reason why I don't. So sometimes, and I want to talk to you, some of you who grew up poor, right? You grew up poor, or you grew up working class where your parents were working all the time. So maybe you were like a latchkey child. And so you're in school with other people who have parents that, maybe they're a little better off. Okay, they do family dinners and stuff. They sitting around the table and talking about their day at work. All right. These two social dynamics can shape so much about how a student is able to engage at school and how they perceive themselves. So maybe you're in history class, or maybe you're in math class, or maybe you're in geography class, and the teacher is mentioning things about, this place, and there seems to be these group of students, and maybe they all got on khakis. I don't know, but they seem to always know where these places are. They just seem to know these concepts. There's a group of students in history class that every time they're talking about these wars, they're like, oh, dang, I know all of these. And you be like, how do y'all know all of this? Because there's another group of students, typically in jeans, sometimes shorts, sometimes hoodies, that's thinking like, I don't know any of this stuff. And if there's not an informed adult in that room who understands how education works and who understand how social dynamics impact understanding, they will completely overlook the fact that this child is now going to feel like they don't know or that they can't learn, when in reality, these other children are getting an academic experience at home around the dinner table. Oh, man. But those kids who are not getting that can't even fathom a world where that even exists. So in their mind, it's like, I don't know because I'm not capable of learning, not I don't know because I just didn't have access to that information. I just never heard that word before. I'm sorry, my father wasn't a banker. You know what I'm saying? I said, no, my family weren't having those conversations, okay? We were trying to bail people out of jail, all right? Like, no, it was different conversations. But if people don't have that type of informed view, then thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of children go through our school systems feeling like they're incapable of learning because they're thinking those other kids are magically intuiting the answers. But no, development requires intentional consumption. Intentional consumption. I find when people realize that, just the power of that, it's a little scary for some people. For some people, it's cold, right? Because it's like, hold up, and I mean cold, like cold-blooded, like cold, like freezing, like damn, no heart, like cold. Because it's just like, basically, you're saying treat yourself like a computer, and I'm like, yeah, I'm saying program yourself. Oh yeah, oh my goodness, man, look, okay. At the end of the day, your life is a result of your programming. All right. As long as you've been in control of the programming, it's a result of your programming. There are things you can turn off. There are things you can turn on. There are things you can choose to engage. One of the things that I challenge you want to do something. Okay. All right. I'm gonna switch to mastermind for a moment. All right. So we're gonna shift from cheerleading to coaching just for a minute. You want to do something to radically transform your life? Change your definition of fun. See, most people are so one-dimensional, so static, so skeletal in their identity that they think fun is something that has just been defined within them, like pre-printed, like it's just predestined, like this has just always been fun for me. And it's like, oh damn, so the things that's been fun for you since you were 3 years old is still just the same shit. That's fun. So you just still farting in the bathtub and giggling. That's what we still have for fun. You see, that's how silly it sounds when you don't allow yourself to upgrade your definition of fun. But literally, you want to radically transform your life. You want to radically transform your life. Change your definition of fun. You know, I realize that I struggle with fun because, like, I am an empath, so I can have fun in anything. If other people are having fun, I can have fun. If I don't want other people to feel bad, I can have fun. But just a part of my neurospicy, I don't attach to those things the way that other people do. So I don't really have attachments. I'm one of the most non-attached people in the world. Like, that's why I think that's why that anarcho thing is on me so strong, just because I don't have those type of attachments, right? Okay, I'm gonna leave this alone because I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. All right, so development requires intentional consumption. Intentional consumption. What am I consuming? Oh, there it is. Changing your definition of fun. I realized that I was locking my definition of fun into what society was telling me needed to be fun. So fun had to be things, and this is when I saw the flaw, or this is when I found the fly in the soup. I realized if I continued to define what was fun for me by what the subset of society that I was involved in was defining as fun, as a person who was born into abject poverty, I realized that if I kept having fun, I'd always be broke, horribly broke. And it wouldn't be nobody's fault but mine. Like, it was bad. Like, that was just me. Listen, it's my story, not yours. But it was me. And I was like, oh, no. And then I realized, and this is what I asked myself, why is it that all the things at this time, all the things that my friends, that my affiliates and my associates and my other A words, assholes, that works, yes. Why is it all of my associates, why is it that their definitions of fun are all correlated to things that are horribly unproductive? Like, why can't, what rule says I can't have fun doing something that is productive, right? So what I decided in 2017, that what would be fun for me was learning new skills. Oh shit, man, my dick gets hard when I'm learning a new skill. No, that's fun for me. It's fun. No, no, that's what I'm gonna do. Why? Oh, because bro, this is what I told myself. You need new skills. You need new skills. You can talk a good game, but you need new skills. See, you don't have a family. You don't have a support system. You don't have people who will vouch for you. Everything that you do, you got to get it out the mud, but then you always pretend like you didn't get it out the mud. It's like you keep giving yourself amnesia. But now, no. Let's get to work. And so that's what I did. Okay, let me get out of coach mode. The more I stay in coach mode, I keep cussing at y'all and saying crazy stuff. Oh, man. So, and of course, this isn't just about comfort food that makes us feel good. When we're talking about growth and development, we're talking about real substance that builds muscle, all the muscles. You know, we're not here to stay the same size. Damn, see, now I should have made that joke because it's just building onto it now. I should not have inserted that joke there. Damn it. If I had an assistant, this is what they'd put in the notes. Don't make jokes like this around words where the next words in the thing is going to be about size. It just doesn't. Yikes. All right. See, we're here to expand capacity. See, you can't even take this seriously anymore. Let me read the sentence over without the joke in it. I got to go all the way back to the top because now I can't say this right. All right. Let me get serious. Let me put on like a bishop of non-belief voice. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. All right. But the big point is that growth and development needs to be intentional consumption. And we don't just want that to be based on just things that, you know, just not things that make us feel comfortable, but things that actually build us, things that help us things that help us build mass, things that challenge us, things that stretch us, things that help us expand. We're not the whole goal of growth. And sometimes, honestly, many people are not growth minded. Growth can sometimes come off as offensive. Growth is scary. Let me tell you why growth is scary. Growth is scary is because it's not a one-time event. Growth is scary because it is not a one-time event. You know, and it's guaranteed change. Growth is scary because it is not a one-time event and it is guaranteed change. Every parent knows this. Every parent knows this. You're parenting a growing child. That means you're signing up for consistent change. That's why when people join organizations or teams, they don't want them to grow because consistent change is scary as fuck. You know, when that baby first get there, if it could stay like that forever, just like them first few days, them first few peaceful days compared to the rest, okay? It's like after that third day, them lungs kick in real strong. Oh, damn. After them lungs kick in on the third day, see, maybe that's what the story of Jesus is really an allegory for. It's for the lungs and them little babies. On the third day, they rose, and that motherfucker got loud as hell. You know, like it's like a bell in there. Like when they scream, it's like their whole head be shaking and everything. And if you're a new parent, you scared. You like, is he gonna explode? Like, what happens? He can't keep shaking like that while he's screaming. Stop. And they don't listen. You know, sorry. See, I went off. But growth is scary because it's guaranteed consistent change. And so typically when we join organizations, like, we don't want it to grow. Now let's just let it stay small, because if it changes, that means relationship dynamics are going to change. That means I'm going to have to change. Positions are going to have to change. You're going to see more people. You're going to see less people. You're going to see new people. You're going to see more people than you want to see of them. You know what I'm saying? This is the reality. But we're here to expand capacity. Growth is scary. You know, every time you grow as a community, that's new people. There was a song when I was growing up, which was actually, I'm not even gonna lie, it was like one of the few songs that I actually liked by Biggie. But it was More Money, More Problems. Y'all remember More Money, More Problems? Trying to keep it low. But More Money, More Problems. Like the reality of growth is like that. Oh yeah, more people, more problems, you know? But that's okay. That's good. Like, because listen, when you're building community, you're signing up to be two things at the same time. Are you ready for this? When you're building community, and the reason, just in case you don't get it, the reason I'm so amped about building community is because building community is the way we create catalyst for change. You know? See, now those two things I was going to give you, they're gone. I shouldn't have took that rabbit trail. They're gone. But anyway, so growth, right? Maybe it'll come back. I don't know. All right, so we eat for increased immunity. Damn, this is good. I'm still in the beginning. I'm out of the introduction, but I'm still in the beginning. And I didn't know this was going to be this good. Who am I lying? I did. I wrote notes. All right, so we eat for increased immunity. So when the body eats well, it strengthens its defenses against sickness. And the same way, the conversations and connections we feed on can either weaken us or prepare us for life's attacks. Now, that's one thing I've become like super duper critical of. I used to, and I think I've mentioned this before. I wrote this in my first book, Significant. It's available on Amazon, by the way. That is a shameless plug. Buy my books. But anyway, so in my first book, there's a chapter called First Things First, and it's where I realized that I have the right to prioritize my time. And that was a hard thing to fight for. I was like, oh man, for whatever reason, and I don't think people realize this, but we lost so much with the invention of the cell phone. The invention of the cell phone is something that we don't understand how much of our sense of self many of us gave away unwillingly just by getting a cell phone. And I want to show you the difference, right? Because like back in the day when all you had was a house phone, you know what I'm saying? Being away from your home meant you were unreachable. You know, it meant you were unreachable. Hell, when you had a house phone, sometimes the phone being on the table and you being on the little recliner over there in the corner, so it's just a little too far away, that meant you were unreachable. Girl, I was gonna answer the phone when you called earlier, but it was on the table, and you know how these legs getting as I done got a little older, so I decided I'd just wait. I'll see who it is. I checked the voicemail back then when you could play the voicemail through the little tape and you had to flip it over. But when you get the cell phone, all of a sudden you become reachable at all times. And if you're not careful, people get to that place where they will treat you like because you have that cell phone, that you owe them your time. And I had definitely fallen into that trap. So anytime my phone would ring, I'd answer it. You know, anytime somebody would message me, yo, call me, I'd call them. Anytime somebody says, hey, I need to talk, I'd talk, regardless of what I had planned, regardless of what I was working on. That cell phone became a lifeline for consistent and continuous distractions and interruptions that were not moving my life forward. And I was sitting there having three fucking hour conversations with people who wanted nothing other than to hear the sound of my voice. They were not taking my advice. They weren't sharing any helpful information. Half of the time it was gossip and bullshit. And so I realized I needed to draw new parameters around my life. And so I made the decision to put my schedule first. And so now, anybody who knows me, I don't answer my phone, period, now. Like, nope. And it's deeper than that. Watch this. You will never get a response from me if you message me, hey, call me. Oh, man. Like, that's going to stay on unread. As a matter of fact, it's not going to stay on unread. I'm going to open it just so it popped down to red so that you know I read that bullshit. Because I'm like, that was your space and opportunity to tell me what the hell you wanted with me, and you did not. So no, that does not work. And I know y'all I'm a millennial. Y'all Gen Zers and all them other stuff. I know y'all talk through reels and videos and stuff. I don't know how to do that, okay? So when you send me a video, I don't know how to convert that video to what the fuck you trying to say to me. So if you would, please attach a little sentence to there and just say, hey, the translation of this video is, do you like me? Yes or no, or something, because like that, I'm a millennial. That's where you got to take it with me. Give me some check boxes and stuff, okay? Add a little love list to it. This, the song you were listening to, what the time it was, all of that. That's what I need, okay? Dang, I had so many fat flashbacks. Like I just went full Aaliyah 4-page letter, you know? Damn. All right, so don't know how I got there. My time, not answering the phone, right? Because I started prioritizing my time. I realized those conversations, they're not feeding me. I can't eat in these conversations. Have you ever been to a restaurant and like one of the little buffets or something, and you look around, he's like, I can't eat nothing here. I started being attentive to when I was, damn, this is good. I started being attentive to when I was in conversations that I couldn't eat from. I can't, this don't really feed me. You know, I'll never forget, like I've shared this story a few times, but because it was a real story. And my homie probably done saw it by now, and he's probably fucking mad at me because I keep telling it. But it was like, he was one of my best friends. And I mean, this man, like, good, he's a good guy, y'all. Great guy. He was one of my friends, and he called me one day. He's like, hey, man, what you reading? I'm like, I'm reading something. I think I was reading something about Richard Dawkins at the time. It wasn't one that had one of the most offensive names to it, but I think he kind of knew who Richard Dawkins was. And then, you know, he was telling me what he was reading. I was like, okay, you know, and it was some, you know, some Christian stuff, but I wasn't going to knock him for it. But somewhere in the conversation, we're talking, and he says, man, you know, something that trips me out. And I'm like, yeah, man, tell me what trips you out. And he's like, I be thinking sometime, and my heart started breaking about how Noah had to watch all them people and them dinosaurs dying out there. It's best just to end that there. Yeah, we haven't talked since. Yeah, I know that makes me sound like a jackass. Listen, it is not my goal in life not to be a jackass. So if that's how it comes off to you, I'll put that shoe on. No, I need, if I'm going to be in a conversation, I need to know I can eat. I don't know if y'all get it about me yet, but I'm a little intense. I'm trying to do some shit. I'm trying to achieve some stuff. So I don't want to be in conversations. Just me personally. There are some of you who love those type of conversations. Some of you, that would have been the ride of your life. As soon as he would have said it, wait a minute, dinosaurs and people, tell me more, you know? But for me, that was the straw. That was like, yeah, I need new friends. I need new friends because I need to eat. I need to eat. I had been malnourished, malnutritioned. I needed to eat. Is that good stuff, y'all? Oh, man. So we eat for increased immunity is the big point. In the same way that conversations and connections we feed on can either weaken us or prepare us for life's attack, eating wisely builds the kind of immunity that helps you withstand negativity, misinformation, and despair. Oh man, this is one of the reasons why there's a lot there are certain types of television shows and certain types of movies and certain types of music that I limit my intake of. Because I remember, like, I used to describe myself as a hopeless romantic. I don't know if I describe myself as that anymore, but I used to describe myself as a hopeless romantic. And it's mainly because I'm an empath. I'm very empathetic. I feel other people's feelings. I respond to them very strongly. And especially back then when I was dealing with all of my masking stuff, I wanted to respond in ways that society said was appropriate, right? So if somebody breaks your heart, you know, your girlfriend breaks on you, what do you do? Breaks up with, but what do? You cry, you know? And you can't just cry a little bit. You got to cry for days. You got to be upset for days. Otherwise, you didn't really love that person. You know what I'm saying? So you got to cry and you just got to be sad. And then you got to listen to love songs that make you even sadder. All right. As a father who really loves your kids, somebody tries to take your kids from you in a nasty divorce, you rage. You could do everything you can to show your kids that no, I'm not one of them that abandons their kids, you know? But one day I really sat down with myself and asked myself, Darante, why do you have these strong emotions here? And the answer was surprising. Like, I thought it was going to be something deeply profound. Like, you remember that time when you was 3 years old and you was at your Uncle Jojo house. You know, you think it's something like that. I don't have an Uncle Jojo, y'all. But you think, I'm thinking it's going to be something like that. And it's just like, nah, it's your programming. This is how you've programmed yourself. These are based off of the shows you've watched, the music you've listened to. This is the script you've been feeding yourself your whole life. Like, and honestly, the funny thing was, like, I could go back to different incidences in life where I had to deal with disappointment, heartache, loss, and stuff like that, and realize, like, no, almost word for word in many cases, I'm using, it was just language that I had heard in shows that I had watched coming up. You know, you pulling stuff from old Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episodes. And then I realized, like, oh no, that's not how I want to be. So the big point is, you can reprogram that. And I was like, no, I don't have to respond I don't have to respond that way just because this is how I have been responding. Now that I know that this is where that's been coming from and that I've actually just been kind of unintentionally following the script, let me get a new script that's actually based in understanding and not reflex, you know? So now when things happen, when negativity happens, when hardship happens, I have a different script. My script before, when hardships happen, was, why does this always happen to me? I can't win for losing. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to take this. That's a script. Just saying something that what I'm doing at that moment is I'm saying what I believe is acceptable to say in society, as opposed to looking for what is the best thing for me to do. Oh, y'all ain't ready for that. That's mastermind. I went from, I shifted from trying to do what is the most acceptable thing. What does society want from me? Well, they want me to show that I'm really disappointed and that I'm really hurt about this, because that's the only way that it means that I actually cared about it. But here's the thing: in most cases, I find I actually don't really care that much. Like when I fail, like it don't bother me as much as it bothers y'all. Like I'll cry because y'all crying, and I'll look all remorseful. Oh dang, I wasted so much time doing that, and y'all supported me all the way through. I'll do all that for you. And at the end of the day, it didn't fucking matter to me, because it either will succeed or it won't succeed. It's no sweat off my back. Doesn't actually change me. Man, I would have been much healthier in life if I leaned into my neurospicy from the beginning. I spent so many years trying to force myself to be normal, and now I'm like, bruh, normal is toxic as fuck. I don't want any part of that. I like being, no, I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be normal. It doesn't work there, but I'll make it. All right, so when you get your information, when you get your immunity right, you're eating wisely, then it does help you withstand negativity a little better. It helps you navigate misinformation a little better. One thing eating right helps you do, it helps you ask better questions. Like people like, I'm gonna pick on the health nuts a little bit. Like, I think that's why sometimes the healthy people don't like me, because I'm an anomaly. Like I've done the thing that everybody else is claiming that their stuff can do. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody claiming that they can help you lose weight, but they've been skinny their whole lives. You know what I'm saying? Like rule of thumb, if someone will help you lose weight, ask them for their fat pics. I want to see your fat pics, or at least your clients. I need to see some fat pics. Okay. That sounds like a sexual connotation, but I'm not kink shaming. I'm just saying. But no, no, you ain't gonna help me. You ain't gonna help me. You ain't never helped yourself lose weight. I tell you what, if you're so confident you can help me lose weight, take the next year to gain about 150 pounds. And then you and I can go through this process together, and let's see how it goes. Oh man, So it helps you eating better, helps you ask better questions. It helps you believe less bullshit. But that's something about those health nuts, man. That's what they'll start doing. And I don't want to say health nuts, because I'm saying that for vernacular reasons, not because I think these people are crazy. It's just an easily recognizable term. So people who are health conscious and the people who are seriously health conscious, they end up knowing more about the structure of the food than anybody else. And they will always ask questions about food that you've never even thought to ask. My son, my oldest son, he's a health conscious eater, So even this morning, I was just warming up some leftover spaghetti, and I put it in the oven. We just cooked regular spaghetti last night, so I just turned it into baked spaghetti today, and it was delicious. And so he had just come in from track. Well, not track. He was running for track, but he had just come in from running, and he looks over and says, "Dad, is there meat in that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's spaghetti." He's like, "Is there a lot of meat?" And I'm like, "It's about the typical amount of meat that's in spaghetti." He says, "Ah." And then it hit me. I'm like, it's the protein. You need the protein because you've had a busy week running. And he's like, yeah. But he said it was also the noodle count as well. I had a lot of sweets this weekend, and so I don't want to add the starch to it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so impressed. But you would do that. People who are health conscious, you be sitting with them at the restaurant, and they're like, yes, does that have gluten in it? I remember the first time I heard gluten, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? They've been putting gluten in our food this whole time? What is gluten? Because I never asked nothing like that. You know what my questions were? What that tastes like? Those are my questions. But no, the more you get informed about something, the more questions you have. And those questions lead you to different outcomes. And it also allows you to navigate despair. Like that's one thing, like, man, I used to be depressed constantly. I used to feel desperate all the time, like helpless, useless. And now, like, I've just been feeding myself so differently over the past decade of my life. I look at every problem as something that is a product of life itself, of chaos and complexity. And I have no choice as of now but to do the same thing that every other human being on this planet does. And that's just to navigate. The only difference is I'm going to do it with a little pizzazz, if you feel me. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go. Let's go. So you don't get sick from every bad thing in the world because now your system has been fortified by good information, good relationships. Community is our immune system. When we feed ourselves and each other with honesty, trust, and support, we're harder to break down. And I'm like, I hate to use this terminology, but I'm a living witness. We also eat for reduced disease. I did not think it was going to take me this long to get through these. Am I going to have to turn this into a part 2? I don't know. Okay. So eating well is prevention. It lowers the risk of breakdown, burnout, and destruction. Is anybody out there wrestling with any type of burnout, any type of breakdown, or any type of destruction? What do you think I'm going to say? Baby, get in here and eat you something now. Get in here and eat you something. In our context, disease doesn't just mean illness of the body. It means dis-ease of the mind, dis-ease in relationships, dis-ease in communities. Toxic inputs create toxic outputs. But when we feed on better, we reduce the spread of dysfunction. We create healthier patterns, healthier structures, and healthier lives. Reduced disease is not just about what we avoid, it's about what we replace it with. Constructive, sustaining nourishment. We've got to get out of this avoidant category and get into this place of sustaining, right? I think this was the biggest issue. Yeah. I think this was one of the biggest issues with the majority of secular humanism up until the recent years, and that it was so focused on avoiding religion that it wasn't trying to fill the gap that it was creating. And I don't know if y'all remember, that was a major part of my story, is that I deconverted and deconstructed in 2010, walked away from the pulpit, and after having just a handful of conversations with people, decided to stay primarily silent on the matter of my lack of belief until I had hypothesized some type of replacement that I could give to people, because I decided, this was just me, this ain't got to be your battle, but this was me. I determined that it was unethical and irresponsible to take somebody's security blanket and then leave them out in the cold. And so I said, no, if I know I'm going to be introducing people to information that is going to deprive them of family, that will likely deprive them of the only community support that they may know. For many of them, like me, their own lifeline. Lucky enough, I was able to reinvent myself in the corporate world for a little bit. But that's a whole rug pulled out from under people. And if I don't have anything to replace it, then I'm only doing it because misery loves company. I just want you to be just as fucked up as I am. I want you to be just as mad and disillusioned as I am. See, that's not me. That's not what I want for people. But that's why I'm talking now, because I got my hypothesis together. Bridge City is doing a thing, and you're more than welcome to join. All right, so again, it's not just about what we avoid. It's about what we replace it with. Stuff that is constructive, stuff that is sustaining, stuff that is nourishing. And so the last one in this category, and I've got to move on, but is this good, y'all? Y'all tell me. Y'all tell me. I'll shut up right now if it's not good. No, don't make me shut up. I'm not going anyway because it's my channel. But anyway, we eat for improved mental health. Our brains are some of the hungriest organs we have. They thrive or falter based on what we consume. When we eat intentionally through positive connection, supportive community, and life-affirming conversations, we nourish the mind. Good consumption lowers anxiety, builds resilience, and gives us hope. Mental health isn't just about therapy or medicine. It's about what we take in daily. If we keep consuming chaos, we'll live chaotic lives. But if we eat peace, we eat learning, if we eat love, we'll think clearer, feel stronger, and live freer. Now, that's one of the things that I challenge everybody to just try. Try. Give yourself 2 to 3 weeks and say, I'm going to cut out every form of toxic media in my life just for 3 weeks. Please do this temporary. Don't do this long term. Just for 3 weeks, I'm going to cut out every toxic form of media. And when I say toxic, even the toxic ones you agree with. All right? But sometimes it's just like, I'm just take out all the stuff that I disagree with. That's called creating an echo chamber. No, any of this media, and I think a good way to define it is say, what are the top 3 most important goals in my life right now? And that's how you define what is toxic. Any form of media that is not helping me move towards my top 3 goals right now is toxic. So you're going to replace all of that toxic media with, just for 3 weeks. This is a temporary experiment. It's a temporary experiment that you can add to the data. You're going to take all of that toxic media out and you're going to replace it with stuff that is intentional. For 3 weeks, everything you listen to, everything you watch will be intentional. You will have to resist that scroll pox where you just end up getting yourself in there. That's what I'm starting calling that, scroll pox. Man, that boy got scroll pox, But you're going to resist that and be very intentional about your intake, right? You're going to add things that bring joy, things that speak of peace, maybe some meditative moments, and you're going to journal every day for 3 weeks. Do that with no expectations. Do that completely detached from outcome. And I'd love to hear what happens at the end. I'd love to hear what happens at the end. I'm not promising anything, but I'm damn sure not promising that there's going to be like this breakthrough and you're going to be a millionaire at the end. But my hypothesis is at the end of that, you'll probably be meeting a version of yourself that you didn't even know was in there. But that's just how expansive the human experience is. All right. So that's all of part 1. Let's get into part 2. That was why we eat. All right. What or how are we eating? Oh, snap. Man, Myth Vision Super Chat, man. Thank you for the $5. Bro, I'm officially moved into my new house. Here's some love. We'll catch up soon. Keep kicking ass, my bro. Love you, Darante. Love you, Derek, man. Thank you for dropping in, man. Love you. All right. So we talked about why are we eating. Let's talk about what and how are we eating. All right. Because, I have to make this metaphor fit in the context of community. So here we go. First thing is the consumption of conversation. All right. In 2023, I hypothesized that people don't learn from classrooms, courses, or curricula. They learn from the conversations that take place within them. It's high impact conversations that matter, which are designed to kind of facilitate deep learning, meaningful engagement, and actionable insights. These conversations are structured yet flexible, data informed yet human centered, and are aimed at fostering personal and collective growth, which is kind of how, if you notice, this is how our Sunday sessions are designed. Monday through Friday on the channel, I'm talking about things that are of interest to people who are deconstructing, things that will help them through the process and hopefully point them to some form of humanism at the end of that, to some form of believing in themselves and getting a little bit of their autonomy, their agency, and their authority, and their authority back. That's in line with these high impact conversations getting us there. So when we get here on Sunday, let's talk about things that are high impact, that are high impact, And so let me kind of explain what I mean when I say that. I spread high impact conversations across 3 spectrums. Number 1, control. Conversations within this spectrum encourage individuals to take responsibility for their own actions and decisions, fostering a sense of empowerment. Here, the focus is on 2 things. What can I control and what controls me? Keeping the conversation on 2 things. What can I control and what controls me? It's about personal accountability. By concentrating on what one can control, the conversation is more likely to yield actionable insights and concrete next steps. I cannot stand being in a conversation about a problem that we never get to the answer. I cannot stand being in a conversation about a problem where there is no intention to get to a solution. In my world, and I get it, I'm not a Christian anymore, but even as a humanist, I can't stand gossip. And gossip is having any conversation about something that I can't do anything about. Now, y'all know me. I'm an extreme pragmatist. So everything that I engage in has to have some utility for me. And so talking about things that I can't do shit about unless I'm learning new information that I can do something with that information is completely useless to me. This is why I don't be liking talking to people who saying there's spaceships in the sky and they coming down and they doing this. If I walk in your house and you ain't got the first telescope, I already know you bullshit. Like, no, I'm not joining you in your mental jack off fest. I'm not doing this. I am not mentally masturbating with you. I am not interested. Sorry. I don't want to go to that party. No, nada, nine. There's some more. I want to be a part of conversations that there is something actionable that comes out of the conversation. If we're talking, there should be something that we're doing after this conversation. If this doesn't lead to something to do, what is we talking about? Why are we talking about it? So that's where things start for me. Control, right? Because that's more likely to yield these insights and some real next steps. Limiting discussions to areas within one's control can reduce feelings of overwhelm and stress, making the conversation more productive. Let me tell you something. Poor people have learned how to do this. Listen, if you've grown up poor, but you had somebody that end up having some type of strong mind, at some point they say, hey, fuck them bills. All right. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to cut them damn lights off and we'll have to put some candles on. All right. We already know that. Ain't no need of us acting like we ain't none of us scared of the dark. You scared of the dark? You scared of the dark? Why normally candles romantic? Now they a problem. Nah, let's get romantic up in here and put these lights on. Y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all get what I'm saying. Oh man. So you're not overwhelmed when you're focusing on the things you can control. To me, that's one of the biggest tricks in life, is switching that perspective. You're looking at that big wave and like, how can I stop that big wave? Bruh, you can't, but you can get the fuck out the way. Hello. You know what I'm saying? So you think about things like that. You look for the things that you can do, not the things that you can't do. I don't even like having conversations, and y'all will notice this about me. If I'm around people and I hear them consistently talk about what they can't do, I will withdraw from the conversation. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of stuff where people are trying to be a solution. I don't find anything virtuous about being loud and unwilling to assist. That's so weird to me. Like, you mad and loud, but unwilling to do shit. Like, what are you really mad about? Ultimately, you mad that you got to see it. You know what I'm saying? You're not mad that it's not being done. Otherwise, you'd be trying to do it. Or you're not mad that it's being done. Otherwise, you'd be trying to stop it. And so many times people want me to jump on their bandwagons. And I'm like, no, fuck your bandwagon. I'm too busy in the fucking battle. Damn, I'm sorry. That was good. I'm back. All right. So conversations. The next one is influence. Okay. Influence. Conversation in this spectrum allows individuals to consider how they can affect change in their broader environment, be it a team, organization, or the community. Here, the focus is on what can I influence and what am I influenced by, right? So understanding one's sphere of influence can lead to more targeted and meaningful interactions, both within and outside the community. So yes, I know what I can control. I know what is kind of controlling me. And what I mean when know is controlling you, like if I'm at work, if I have a full-time, 40 to 60 to 80-hour job, then that is controlling me. The job itself isn't controlling me, but the need to pay the bills to keep food on the table, that's kind of controlling me. So I know that's a control on me. So then I know that I can only give so much time. That's what I mean by that. So, but once you're dealing with control, what can I control and what is controlling me? The next thing, there are things that I cannot control, but I can influence. I have no control over this at all, but I know a person who knows a person. You know what I'm saying? I can't control it, but if I get 50 of us together and we go down there, we might be able to influence. You see what I'm saying? There's a spectrum to this. There are things that I can do that I can control, but even when I look around and I say there's nothing I can control, the next thing I'm looking for is what can I influence? And at the same time, I'm being careful to be mindful of and what is influencing me. Damn, this is some good stuff. All right. So this spectrum encourages individuals to think about the impact of their actions on others, which promotes ethical decision making. And then that last part of the spectrum is cooperation. Conversations within this spectrum focus on what can be achieved through collaboration, emphasizing the power of teamwork and community. So here the focus is on what am I cooperating with, period, because that works both ways. If I'm cooperating with it, it's cooperating with me. What can I control? What can I influence? And what am I already cooperating with? Or what can I cooperate with that gets me closer to where I'm trying to go? Do y'all see that? So like right now we're building this local community in South California, SoCal. I got to say it right, SoCal. We're building this in SoCal, right? And 2 months ago, if you would have asked me, what can I control about this endeavor? The answer would have been absolutely nothing. I think that's my son. The answer would have been absolutely nothing. I'm not in California. I didn't have any strong contacts in California that could lead things and move things along. But I knew what could I influence. All right. Well, you're kind of an influencer at this moment. I didn't plan on being. It's not really what I want to do. Y'all have no idea, but this is not how I wanted this movement to be built. Oh, I did not want it to be built like this. Y'all are getting a different monster now. And I'm sorry. I didn't want it to happen this way. It just happened. But no, I have people that I can use my influence to let people know what I'm trying to do. So I can't make a campus happen in California, but I can use my influence to say, hey, I want to do something there. If you're interested, let us know. Tap in. And so people started tapping in. And so then what can I cooperate with? Well, I can cooperate with the people who are tapping in, especially those who are tapping in to do leadership stuff. And so Robert tapped in to host and is damn near pretty much leading at this moment, which is absolutely beautiful because that's what you want. And so now, not only do I have something that I can influence and I have something that I'm cooperating with, now because of that, me, Robert, Ashley, Kyle, as we're all coming together, we're starting to get things that we can actually control, that we'll know, okay, this is going on. So they're planning up their first in-person meetings right now, and it's absolutely beautiful. But that's what happens is when you focus on, when you keep things within that spectrum, oh my goodness, you can achieve great things. Like one of the things that I really want to help a lot of people who are joining this community, because a lot of you are so much like me, right? You have these big ideas, you have these big passions, you have these big projects that you're working on. But as soon you jump in the room, you've only been in the room 15 seconds and you're trying to get people on your project. And I'm like, man, I get it because that is what community is for. But this is the beginning. So this is what I want you to do first. And y'all hear me here. This is what I want you to do first. Before you introduce your passion project, before you introduce your needs, just introduce yourself. You know, this is the beginning. I did a talk a few weeks ago. You got here first. This is the orientation. Orient yourself to the room. You know what I used to say it, read the room. Introduce yourself first. Treat this like it's the beginning. See, let me tell you what you're doing. You're robbing yourself because the buffet ain't even here yet. You know what I'm saying? These are your co-laborers in building the larger community. It's the larger community that's going to bring in your army. Yeah. So center those conversations on each other. Introduce yourself and get insanely curious about those other people that you're talking to. And since there's kind of a middle connection of either me or Bridge City, I'd spend some time talking about that. I'd save your passion projects until we have the teams and the groups, because then what that's going to do is it's going to give your passion projects steam. When we have the teams and the groups, which will only be formed when y'all are talking to each other and getting insanely curious about each other and getting insanely excited about working together, then you have some type of organized effort going on. You got groups going on. You have a communication system going on. And then we can say, hey, such and such wants to do such and such in such and such. And we can send that information through the entire network. And there are already people who align with specifically your passion project. So listen, I know it's hard, but be patient. First things first. Damn, that came back. First things first. Introduce yourself and get insanely curious about them. And then all of y'all get insanely curious about the mission. Let me tell you something. I warn people of their own scammy behavior. Okay. And when I say scammy behavior that gets your ass scammed. All right. All right. Some of y'all connecting the shit and ain't even reading the shit. No, read the shit. That's how people scamming you. I could put all type of shit in that course. And read that. Because what most of you are seeing yourselves as just members or just people who are joining. No, you are co-creators. Give yourself the room, the autonomy to say, I'm reading this because I want to make sure I agree with this shit. I'm reading this because I want to make sure this is something that I actually stand for, that this is something that I actually want to be a part of. And I'm not going to be so impressed because he good looking and got a deep voice and got them thick ass glasses on that show that he can see into the future. And I just, no. I need to let me actually check what this shit is, so that I know, damn, this is good. Damn, this is good. Oh yes. So it's about, who am I cooperating with? So by focusing on areas of potential cooperation, these conversations can serve as a platform for resolving conflicts and disagreements. Discussing cooperative efforts can lead to more efficient use of resources, including time, skills, and financial assets. Make sure that what you're trying to eat is actually on the menu. So that's what a big thing is. You know what I'm saying? I went through this phase, and my wife don't like it, but I went through this phase where one of the things that I don't like to hear or didn't like to hear for a long time was, what do you want to eat tonight? Because we were real poor. Like, we're still poor, but we're not like that poor anymore. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, we still poor. We Black in America, so that's kind of how that works. But no, that poor was like, what do you want to eat tonight? Like, I got fucking options. It ain't about what I want. Like, I don't even know why we playing that game. Don't ask me what I want. What you want to eat tonight? What you want to eat tonight? Lamb chops. Yeah, can't get them. Can't even get no lamb chops, can I? So no, don't get my hopes up. Like, what you want to eat tonight? What? Some money came in? Like, that's gonna be my response to that. That's gonna be my response to that. Because otherwise, I'm like, bruh, I don't get them beanie weenies out of there. I guess I'm gonna eat ramen. I guess I want ramen. What I really want is some ramen and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, damn, why that remind me of the song I want for my birthday is a big booty girl. I don't know why that goes there. And I didn't even like the song, but a part of being a Black preacher is being a cultural thermometer, not a thermostat, but a thermometer. It's just reading the temperature and becoming somewhat of a conduit for that language and being able to speak to everybody on their own terms and know how to drop information in that makes everybody in the room feel like, damn, he talking to me. Is that working? Like, I never thought this experience would translate well online, especially without the ambiance and the synergy, All right, so let's go. But yeah, like what if you're gonna be eating, make sure that whatever you want to eat is actually on the menu. And that's what when I say high impact conversations, that's what I mean. Think about it that way. If we're about to eat, is this something we can actually eat? You know what I'm saying? Like, because some people be talking about stuff that they know is out of their price range. And it's sometimes when people invite you into a conversation that is out of your price range, ask them if they paying. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, whoa, this conversation right here, I don't think I can afford to have this conversation. So are you going to be paying me to be in this? You know? So anyway, that's consumption of conversations, which is why we do this. But there's also consumption of connection. After all, it is our purpose to be a better way to connect, right? So this is connection to self, connection to others, and connection to the world around you. Connection to self refers to self-awareness, self-acceptance, and understanding one's own emotions and needs. And that at one point, that was my definition of contemporary spirituality. That contemporary or secular spirituality, if you wanted to look for such a thing, is simply self-talk. You know, that's I built on it since then, which I'll be sharing later. We'll be talking about it, but it won't be coming not now, just later. But self-talk, you know, but getting to that place where you're comfortable with you, it's a major goal to create space safe enough for people to be able to explore themselves. You know, asking the hard questions are hard because we've never been safe enough to ask them. You know, like asking the question, "What's wrong with me?" is typically a healthy question to ask as long as you have a healthy mindset. If it's what's wrong with me because I want to punish myself, then it's not a great question to ask. Which is one of the reasons why it's not a question we ask a lot, because we're so used to being in an environment that doesn't believe in perfection, but yet punishes you for not being perfect. So nobody wants to ever think that there's anything wrong with them, because it is a fucking psychological mindfuck. You know, to be like, oh, what's wrong with me? Well, this is why I don't believe in perfection, period, right? Like I don't know the standard. So I'm always comfortable with the question, what's wrong with me? Because I know something's wrong with me. And something wrong with me, it isn't saying what's wrong with me as compared to what's right with somebody else. It's what's wrong with me according to how I feel about myself and my standards of my life. And so I give myself the freedom for that. And we have to create space for other people to do the same thing. It's like, dang, what is wrong with me? Like I have been stuck into this type of spot for a long time. Like, what is wrong with me? 2017, I had that conversation with myself. Like, Darante, you're a smart dude, bro. But you have been broke your whole life, and you can blame your parents for like the first, maybe the first 18. I mean, there's some time in there you could have cut in and probably did a little bit more. But like, why is it that you're at this moment? Damn, I think at that moment. Yeah, I was in my 30s because 2017. I'm like, why? What's wrong with you? Why are you still broke? You know, I know that's a different question. Everybody can't have that conversation with themselves. I'm not saying you should have that particular conversation with yourself, but I am saying that is the conversation I had with myself. See, I had to have it because I have 4 kids, and so I don't get, regardless of everything else systematically that is wrong with the world, I don't get to use it as an excuse for me not to try my best to make sure that my kids have better opportunities than I did. To me, that would just be stupid. That, like some people say that, like that I can't even call that selfish. That would be stupid. I'm doing the selfish thing. The selfish thing is doing everything I can to make sure that my kids have a better chance than I did. You know? And that came from a moment of saying, Darante, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with me? Why can't I support here was the question. Why can't I get any support for any of the things that I want to do? Why is it that for everything that's important to me, this was the real conversation I was having. 2017, single wide trailer, holes in the floor because I jumped too hard and I was still a little heavy. You know what I'm saying? But why is it that everything I do, I got to pull it out the mud? Everybody else has people who will help them. They got friends they can call on. But me, I got to pull it out the mud. And then just when I'm barely getting it out of the mud, that's when people show up and say, yeah, we'll help. And by help, they mean we're just going to stand around and tell you how to do it. And I was sitting there And I remember saying to myself, or thinking to myself, is that why is you doing it by yourself an intolerable story for you? Why? Why do you feel like you're doing it by yourself? Why does that scare you? See, when you start eating right, you start asking the right questions. You start asking better questions. It wasn't their lack of support that I was afraid of. It wasn't their lack of assistance that I was afraid of. It was my own incapacity. I don't want to do it by myself because I sincerely believed I couldn't. Even when I was doing it, I'm like, what am I telling myself? While I'm doing it, I can't do it no longer. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to do this now. Hell, I still do that. I still default to that. The only difference is, I got it. I'm gonna get up and do it. I'm gonna keep doing it. But back then I'd stop. Like, I don't know if I can handle this. But it's like, but you handling it though. I don't know if I can take this. That's really interesting because you taking it. I feel like I'm drowning. That's so crazy you say that because it looks like you flying. Damn, bruh. You know, I had to deal with that. Like it ain't their lack of support that I'm scared of. I need their support so I can have an excuse not to believe in myself. I need their support as a scapegoat. I need their support so I don't have to see how much I can take. But what if, y'all know I don't believe in any form of predestination, but what if figuring out how much I can take is exactly what I need to be doing to figure out just what type of monster I can be? And I mean monster in a good way. I can be a friendly monster. All right, so get in that safe place to ask those questions. What's wrong with me? What's right with me? What am I okay with? I was not supposed to take that long of a trail, but I hope that was helpful for somebody. All of that came from just that one question. I was supposed to unpack. I was actually supposed to just read those questions, but I hope that little rabbit trail was helpful for somebody. Because damn, a lot came out of that. A lot came out of that. I think my eyes still watering. But we need that space, you know. What am I okay with? What am I passionate about? That's the connection to self. But there's also connection to others. And this encompasses various types of relationships, including your family, your friends, romantic partners, and acquaintances. Oh man, relationships are the biggest areas that humanity is wasting. And it's so sad to me because so many people have all these titles and all, they got these BFFs and these glams and grams and all of this stuff, and none of it mean shit because we're not holding each other accountable to it anymore. I am one of those people that if we're going to be in a relationship, it actually has to mean something. Number one, I am one of those people, like, I really like myself. Like, I enjoy being myself. I bring my own happiness to the relationship. I'm a happy person. Like, this is my happy face. You know what I'm saying? So if we're going to be in relationship, it can't just be for conversations. Number one, because as y'all have seen, I don't really have time for that many, you know? So it has to be purposeful. So I kind of break it up to this way, in the most simplistic way. Because if I gave you the requirements to be my family, you'd be like, this bro ain't never gonna have family. You know what I'm saying? But to keep it simplified, when we're talking about these connections to others, we'll just run through a few. Number one, familial connections, right? So to keep that simple, that's safety based. Like, at the very least, if we're gonna call each other family, I need to be safe with you. If I don't feel safe with you, we're not family, period. That's my rule. That, like, I got a lot more rules, but that's like base. Like, I have to, I have to feel safe to be able to communicate with you. I have to be able to feel safe to share my fault, my miscomings with you. I have to feel safe to fail in front of you. I got to feel safe to win in front of you. I need to feel safe to brag in front of you. And if I don't have that safety, we're not family. I need to feel safe to check you. If I don't feel that safety, if I can't check you, we're not family. That's real. If you can't check me, we're not family. If you're trying to live a life where you're trying to avoid ever checking me, we're not family. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you're not family, you're not checking me. All right, because you're not in the safety circle. I hope y'all caught that. Family. It's about family. I just did a whole Fast and the Furious and y'all missed it. All right, let me stop. All right, so the next type of relationships are casual, fun-based. Fun-based. I think I'm just getting to the place where I'm starting to have casual relationships again, where there's just people where I'm like, damn, I just kind of like hanging out with you. I like the way you think. Drew is one of them. Like, yes, fun-based. And you again, we had this cut. We hit this earlier. You get to determine what is fun for you. There's social, which we'll call community-based, and so basically the relationships that you're building, especially with other people in Bridge City Global, and for those of you who are part of the broader DLDD World Group, the relationships that you're meeting with other people on the team, or relationships that you're building with other people on the team, those will be community-based relationships, which means these relationships exist because the thing that we are all intersected around is the community, which is why one of the things that I'm driving, especially in these early stages, in the infancy stages of Bridge City, like I might literally make this a requirement of all the leaders. Like at the end of the day, the thing that I'm judging you by is not really how much you get done, it's how many relationships you're building. That's because the community doesn't exist until the relationships are safe, So it's not just going to be like, I think, 5,000 people are not going to show up and get along. I don't know what fairy tale book y'all been reading, but that's not how that shit works. So we need to start with the numbers we have now, and people need to actually start building relationships. If you're going to find out that you don't get along with somebody, this would be a great time to figure that out early so you can start figuring out their triggers, your triggers, and all the conflict resolution stuff. But if that stuff is not prioritized, we will miss it. So community-based is when our relationships are based on what is based on what is best for the community itself. But see, then there's also professional relationships. And this is another one that people sleep on, especially when you're a part of a community. When you're a part of a community, you have access to other people who can help you grow in areas that are important to you for your career, which that one is career-based. And then also experimental relationships, which is just curiosity-based. Like you ever get in a relationship with someone like you're like, I don't think I'd normally be a friend with somebody like you, but I just want to see what it's like. I'm not sure if it's going to last, but you have those. But those are the various different types of connections that feed your life. And so I know for me, it was realizing that my familial connection was flawed, was one of the reasons that I wasn't eating in life. I'm treating myself like I got a family when I don't, and that's really dangerous. And so as soon as I stopped that started fixing a few things. It didn't fix everything, but it fixed a few things. All right, and then lastly, for this one, connection to the world. And so this includes feeling connected to a larger purpose, which some of you are already expressing, feeling connected to community, or even nature itself. Connecting with yourself and others is really how you cultivate personal purpose. It's how you determine not just who you want to be in the world, but how you want to connect in the world, So we can put this on direct and global. So because Bridge City Global and because DLDD World Group and because Darante LaMar has a global reach now, we do have a global membership. So just being a part, let me say that again, being actively a part, being actively engaged offers you a window into other parts of the world. So then this global window allows us to engage and exchange various worldviews, social challenges, and even innovations, ultimately informing our understanding and response in this world. That's one of the most powerful things I'm coughing a lot today. That's one of the most powerful things about being a part of a community that has grown this fast and this far. Okay. We are an anomaly. But the beauty of that anomaly is that now there's literally like, there are very few countries on the map that we don't have somebody there. So we're almost at that place where you can put a name to any country from within the community, which just gives you access the more that continues to grow. But then even from an indirect perspective, community support appreciates into world impact. Okay? Community support appreciates into world impact. To make that simple, the more we grow as a community, the more we start working together as a community, the more we start pooling our talent, pooling our resources, then we can provide shelters, we can provide feeding programs, schools, and support networks across the globe. That is community support appreciating into world impact. So then you can have somebody, and the only thing they were able to do was to volunteer 4 hours a week, but just by them volunteering 4 hours a week, they know they're helping to power global change all over the world. Now, if that doesn't get your goose going, I don't know what does. It gets my goose going. My goose is going right now. God damn it. Get going, goose. All right. There's also the consumption of opportunity, and I'm going to try to roll through these fast. That's the opportunity. Oh, yeah, this is real fast. I can do this. Opportunity. It's the opportunity to discover, the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to develop, and the opportunity to do. You know, many people, when you join a community, you do think about the benefits, like the passive benefits or the receptive benefits. But man, I want you to think about the active benefits. The active benefits of being a part. And this ain't supposed to be an invitation to community. We're supposed to be talking about eating and crumbs and stuff. But I do want to say on this aspect, it's an active invitation to discover what's capable when we come together, to discover how you being here brings something different to the table. It's an opportunity to learn different new information, learn new processes, learn more stuff about yourself, and it's an opportunity to develop projects, programs, missions, systems, relationships, hobbies, interests, and lastly, to do. Scooby Dooby do. It's an opportunity to do. Community is an opportunity to do. That is so good. It's an opportunity to do. You ever said to your mind, like, damn, I want to do good, but I don't have enough to do good. But if I have a community gives me opportunity to do. All of a sudden, my $2 stretch a lot further when I put them in community as far as helping somebody else. You know, see, one person will never be able to really effectively help a lot of people. But a lot of people will always be able to help one person. And that's what the power of community is. Damn, that's good. You know, one person will never be able to help a lot of people effectively. Not for real. But a lot of people can always help one. We had built a little system off of that. I was running it locally for a while called Hope and Help, where people could nominate anybody who they thought needed a little help or hope. They either needed help or hope, and we were going to do it. And we'd go get appliance-sized boxes, refrigerator-sized boxes, and just call everybody in our network and say, hey, somebody needs a little help and a little hope. And we'd fill that box with whatever people wanted to put in there. There were some staples that we'd ask if it's a help situation more than just hope. There were staples that we'd ask to be put in there, like hygiene products and stuff like that, toiletries and food stuff. But then there were also, hey, there's just something you want to throw in the box to surprise somebody. Let's do that. And to be clear, this was not something to solve a problem. That was never the goal of Help and Hope. It was something to be the entryway to larger systems. I'm not going to walk you through that whole plan because I'll bore you, but I definitely plan on bringing that back. But it was always beautiful because it doesn't take a lot. 10 people can help one person a lot quicker than one person can help 10. And we'd make sure that people wrote little letters of encouragement to people and just drop them in there and wrap our little logo with the bow on there. It says help at hope. And we coordinate with the people how we want to get it delivered to them and all that stuff. And the biggest idea for that, again, this was never meant to be a solution. That's not a solution-oriented problem. On the other end of help and hope is we wanted to actually build help and hope communities, which will be based off of thrift stores and stuff like that. But no, we'll go down that road. But see, like, I grew up poor, like really, really poor. My mother was a drug addict. My father was not poor, but he was a jackass, so he wasn't around. So I had to deal with shit. My whole family's been poor their whole life. So no, I've been in the food lines. I've been at the churches and waited, you know? And when you are going through a hard time, finding out that you don't have to go wait in a line and debase yourself for somebody to care about you. You know? See, there's so much in this world, and I don't want to go off my rabbit trail here. I don't want to go off too far, but there's so much in this world that I don't know if we can solve homelessness yet. No, we can. We can. I don't know what it's going to take to do it, but I know we should also be focusing on preventing it as well. And there are a lot of people that are just one bad week away from losing everything. And I don't know if you've lost everything before, but I have a few times. And like, starting over isn't actually starting over. By the time you're ready to start over, the world has already moved on. And so when you lose anything in this type of economy, you have to fight back like 5 times as hard as anybody else to catch back up. That's how homelessness becomes so persistent in this arena. Because once you lose a little bit, getting back, you feel like you got to slit your wrist just for people to even care. You know? It's like all of a sudden, if you're not dead, it doesn't matter. Now, if you had died from it, we'd have something to talk about. Oh man, y'all don't want to get me here. But this is why I push and advocate for community. We can change that. We can be the change that we need to see. We can make that difference. Which brings me to the last one, the consumption of responsibility. Do the work. Do it right. Do your best and do the most. Like, this is really about the leaving no crumbs now. Work is what we do with our energy to change our outcomes. It's how we transform chaos into comfort and complexity into opportunity. You know, you need to be constantly looking for ways to improve effectiveness, efficiency, sustainability, and scalability. Like, it has to be a focus. And then do your best, which is simply do all you can. Whatever you're working on deserves your full attention. So give it that. And then do the most to actively and intentionally engage in a wide range of self-improvement activities, focusing on developing different aspects of yourself. Don't just depend on one area. Lean into emotional intelligence. Lean into those new skills. Lean into your physical health. Lean into your mental well-being, and remove any models of perfection. So you're not leaning into anybody else's image, but you're basing it on who you are and who you want to exist in the world as in this moment. Giving yourself the freedom and grace to understand that, hey, it might change someday, but the goal is about reaching your potential. So what about these crumbs that we're supposed to be talking about? But what exactly are crumbs? A crumb is a very small amount of something. Crumbs often get left behind because they're so small, and they're often considered both insignificant and insufficient, which means not important and not enough. To me, this is the overarching problem with humanity. We have swollen in our tendency to view ourselves and others as not important and not enough. And this is why you don't know how to appreciate your crumbs, because many of us do not know how to appreciate ourselves. Significance and sufficiency are subjective. Important to who? Not enough for what? No, let's get objective with it. It ain't got to look like much to be much. If we were together, I'd have you push somebody right there. But go ahead and tag somebody in the chat and say, I ain't got to look like much to be much. Now, don't let these glasses fool you. It ain't got to look like much to be much. And it's today is not actually, it's tomorrow. And it by itself is not the same as it is with me. So objectively, I can't speak to what it will be. But what I can say is that it's here and it's available. So let me tell you something. When you learn how to appreciate your crumbs, you learn how to appreciate people, period. And I'm saying this as someone who grew up in homelessness and poverty. I learned how to love every crumb. When you don't have much, when the little bit you have belongs to other people, at some point, you learn how to love every crumb. You become appreciative of the smallest things, not for any other reason. It ain't got to be much. You don't have to be important. You don't have to be enough. I'm just glad that you're here. See, when you've been through tough times, you understand some of that. That's what I want to see as we're building Bridge City global campuses all across this globe. I want them to be places that celebrate people from the large to the small, from the moment they come in. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your background is. I'm just glad that you're here. Why y'all smiling at me so hard? Bro, I'm just glad you're here. I'm just so glad you're here. I know it's a little creepy, but no, I'm glad that you're here. This is why I approach people much differently than what I've experienced. You see yourself as a crumb. I see you as here. You see yourself as not enough. I see you as here. I'm not trained, but you're here. I don't have the experience, but you're here. I've never done this, but you're here. I'm a royal fuck up, but you're here. You don't understand. I'm going to mess this up. I know, but the person who wouldn't have messed it up is not here. But you are. And maybe this is your opportunity to prove to yourself that you are more than you ever thought. Michael Jackson's first #1 hit song was dedicated to a rat because it was there. Been the two of us may look no more. We both found what we were looking for. I'm fast forwarding it. You know, and they sang that. Watch this. Rats, like children, are often colloquially recognized as crumb snatchers. Damn, I want to have a whole conference of crumb snatchers. Because Ben knew the value of crumbs, he earned his way into a #1 song. You know, like, damn, this Mike had a whole family, a sister whom he loved. He loved Janet. He didn't like the rest of them motherfuckers, but he loved Janet. But Ben is the one who made the song. Ben is the one who made it on the song because he was there. Please never underestimate the importance of being there. Please never underestimate the importance of being here. Call me the crumb snatcher. I'm so hungry for better in this season of my life that if it's here and it's useful, it's getting ate. Get in my belly. This is some Galactus level hunger here. You know what I'm saying? Damn. Yeah. Okay. I'm through. What's wrong with leaving crumbs behind? What's wrong with leaving crumbs behind? It wastes what is present and available. It may not seem like much, but it's present and it's available. What are you going to do with it? you're literally leaving food on the table. I want to challenge everyone participating, whether now or later, to reconsider what you're discounting. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for some crumbs. There are people who are not here at this moment right now because they saw me as crumbs. Oh, don't do that. Reconsider what you're discounting. Michael could have been writing about his mother, his father, his siblings, or a cousin, but instead he ended up writing his #1 song about a rat because they bonded over an appreciation with the crumbs, something that was not important, not enough to somebody else. But to me, everything that is here is important and is enough. If you're here, you're important. If you're here, you're enough. Leaving crumbs behind also attracts pests and disease. It's funny because we just got finished talking about rats, but it's rotten potential. You're letting treasure turn to trash. A lot of the most toxic and vile manifestations of humanity that we see today are shining examples of what happens when we treat people with the same disregard that we treat our crumbs. You put too much on your plate, but you're punishing them for it. I spent the majority of my life, over 3 decades, feeling like somebody else's crumbs. And I attracted a lot of repeated infestation until I started picking up what others thought was worthy of leaving behind, starting with myself. I started picking myself up. I can't wait for you to value me anymore. I got to find a way to appreciate myself. When I pastored Kingdom Central, I used to say, we're not here to beat you up. We're here to pick you up. But on this side of things, we're creating the environment and the space and the opportunity for you to find the courage, the confidence, and the competence to pick yourself up. I don't ever really want to create an environment where people feel like somebody else has to do it for them. I want to create an environment where people kind of get to live, almost like relive those toddler stages a little bit, where you're like, hey, get off me. I can walk. I got it, mama. I got it. You know, that you can pick yourself up. I don't ever want to patronize you that bad. No, if you need the help, we got you. Oh man, but I don't ever want to rob you of your agency. And the truth of the matter is, as we're building community, some of the people showing up are going to feel like crumbs. Life has been treating them like crumbs. They've been left behind by so many for so long that they don't even know what catching up is, let alone getting up. This is why every weekend I encourage you to build connections in the chat, the Discord, and the community, because better connections help people get a better view of themselves. So what's the assignment? To eat and leave no crumbs. I want to close with this. A few years ago, I decided that I only want to do one studio quality musical project in my life. I've been passionate about music my entire life, but there's just so much that I want to do, so many projects that I want to work on, so many things that I want to accomplish that I can't be stuck in a studio for months at a time. But I do want to do one album. And I plan on doing plenty of Bridge City music albums, or Bridge City plans on doing plenty of music and many of albums. But me, as Darante LaMar, plan on doing just one album. And so I've been pulling together my songs for about the past 5 to 8 years. And I want it to be a large volume project, paying homage to my love for hip hop, gospel, country, soul, blues, R&B, jazz, rock, and even musicals. And I wanted to tell my story, share my struggles and my hopes. But I couldn't settle on a name. So I was thinking the makings of a, and then just ... and just maybe, or the makings of a something with an M and then ... So my last name is Martin. So it could be like the makings of Martin, or it could be the makings of a millennial, or it could be the makings of a mastermind, or a maniac, or a madman. And I share that because over the past 2 years, I've been working like a madman, unapologetically, unashamedly. So I'm not looking for sympathy. providing clarity, because sometimes people get real uncomfortable when my availability doesn't look like their availability. And when that happens, my mind goes, I wonder how many 12-page scripts are you writing a week? Curious to how many videos are you spending hours editing a week? How many books are you currently writing right now? I have 5 that I've published, but I got 3 more that I'm currently writing right now. How many of you, right? How many comments, emails, and DMs are you personally responding to right now? And if you don't respond to them, it changes the way people view your character. How much of that pressure is on you right now? None. I didn't think so. How many local campuses are you currently trying to launch out of thin air? How many websites are you responsible for managing? So the audacity to think that my time should look like your time. See, I'm on madman's time right now. Some of the homies be like, yeah, I'm on demon time. I'm on demon time. No, I'm on madman time right now. And I get it. You are living your life like a normal person. And that is awesome. I am so happy for you, but we are not the same. I am not living that way. I don't have that type of time. And that is on purpose. This is not sympathy. This is clarity. I unapologetically describe myself as hyper productive. That means if you want to be my lover, you got to come do some shit. You know what I'm saying? So you may see what I'm working on as crumbs, and that's okay, because not only am I cooking, I'm eating, and I'm on a no crumb left behind mission. So as long as you see crumbs on the table, go ahead and know that means I'm going to be busy. Because if there's some crumbs around, I've got something to do. If there's crumbs here, there's something for me to eat. So you can go ahead and do whatever the hell you was going to do. I'm going to attend to my crumbs. That means there's something left to eat. And my assignment is to leave no crumbs. And at this moment, this is bigger than just a vision for community. I'm talking about life now. I treat my life like this is kind of a big deal. I am kind of a big deal. To me, I've already changed what it means to be a Martin in my lifetime. I am kind of a big deal, and that is on purpose. And it's not just me wanting to feel better than anybody else. Better don't even exist. Oh, I could have said something cold-blooded right there. I'll save that for Mastermind. It's me wanting other people to have the same audacity to feel the same way about themselves, to say, God damn it, I am kind of a big deal, and I don't need anybody else's permission to be so. T.I. became the king of the South. T.I. pronounced himself the king of the South before his album had ever even sold any damn money. That's how you do it, okay? You decide who you are. You just be that damn person. You are a big deal. I am kind of a big deal, and I am maximizing every moment to actualize every iota of my capacity. And if that's not what you're doing, that's okay. But I am unapologetically hyperproductive. Because when the final words are spoken over what remains when my last breath is gone, I want them to be, he ate and left no crumbs. My invitation to everyone who's here, whether now or later, is to ask yourself, what crumbs am I leaving behind? What small things am I overlooking or undervaluing? What connections am I not cultivating? What idea of mine am I not supporting because others don't appreciate it? And how different could things be if I learned how to find my own crumbs as worthy of consumption? You are kind of a big deal. Leave no crumbs, my friend. Thank you all so much for joining me today for another Sunday Sessions. I hope this conversation has cultivated some insight and some inspiration for you and your journey. Make sure to connect with someone before leaving, because your relationships are the strength of this movement and community. And let's keep showing the world that we can provide inspiration, motivation, support, and transformation without superstition, control, or coercion. And also, join me again next week as we enter the 4th part of this series with a conversation titled An Ounce of Action. I wonder what's that going to be about. Now, of course, explore the links in the description to find ways to connect, including joining BC Global by enrolling in Grid City 101, How to Change the World. You can also join my email list to stay updated on what I'm doing with the LDD World Group, or financially support the channel, the content, community, or the creator. That's me. It feels weird calling myself the creator, but Tyler did it, so I think I'm okay doing it too. But through Patreon, YouTube, PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, or you can purchase something from Window Shop. We do have some dope merch on there, and we have hella guides on there that'll help you grow in your personal walk with reason. Hallelujah, I guess. All right. So if you want to support, we want to make it as easy for you as possible. That is literally all I have for you today, folks. I love you all so much. I am so sincerely grateful that y'all choose to come and spend some time in these conversations. We are literally making a difference right now. And again, I do have to say this. Whether you're in California or not, I love to see you in October as we're getting my tickets just got booked this morning. And so as we're getting the location and everything together, I'm going to be getting that information out. I would love to see you there. Send all your thoughts and prayers and all that good stuff. All right, that's all I have, y'all. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
Twin, play and win.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said, let him cook.
Welcome to the makings of a madman. Mad men get shit done, it's a passion. Has-beens can't get close to my lab, man. Since I stopped feeding these suckers, they fast. And this is the reason that I move so fast, man. Rewrote the story and threw out the cast. Fuck all the credit, man, I want the cash. I am the running man, you in the past. Too far ahead of you, you cannot see me. I'm stronger and better. You slept on your Wheaties, I got it together. You fall into pieces. I should be calling you Reese's. It should be illegal to teach this, but somebody dared me to do it. So I said, well, damn, I'ma do it. That somebody was me, mad.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said, let him cook.
Welcome to the makings of a madman. Mad men get shit done, it's a passion. Has-beens can't get close to my lab, man. Since I stopped feeding these suckers, they fast. And this is the reason that I move so fast. Rewrote the story and threw out the cast. Fuck all the credit, man, I want the cash. I am the running man, you in the past. Too far ahead of you, you cannot see me. I'm stronger and better. You slept on your Wheaties, I got it together. You fall into pieces. I should be calling you Reese's. It should be illegal to teach this, but somebody dared me to do it. So I said, well, damn, I'ma do it. That somebody was me, mad.